This song, but then you start catching a vibe. I'm sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, 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 gang. You know we don't play gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know we don't play gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know we don't play gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know. Yeah. Whoa. East Coast with that gang, gang. You know we don't play games. Whoa. Hop up on that wagon. Oh, please just get out the way. You know we stay stuntin'. Right up in your face. We sorry, not sorry. We just stuck up in our ways. West Coast, go ahead, stand up. Put that glass and hands up. Gang, 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 we fanned up. Got that change, we bagged up. Cool love, we stay manned up.
What up,
Like I'm
Boosh?
Weezy, yeah. Rap game just too easy. Drip so sick, I'm queasy. Whoa.
Yep.
East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the gang, gang, gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. You know we don't play gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang.
It's Papa time. It's time for Daddy. Daddy's home. Daddy's home. And West Coast with the gang, 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 gang. 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 Yeah.
Watch me finesse, walk to the line. Good versus evil, God in his prime. Always in prime, always on time. Our time to shine, wifey is fine. I'm
What up, what up, what up?
fine, glad that you asked. God fill me up, mud in my glass. God clean me up, all that I ask. Wherever you headed there fast. I am ahead, you are in last. Last time I checked, you were all gas. Gas in the whip it up fast. Fast and all furious, I'm starting to spaz. Getting all curious, you put me on
What's up?
blast. Blast
What's
in that
up?
Darius,
Yo,
kids in the
yo,
back.
yo.
Back to the future is black. Black
What
like
up,
T'Challa,
ya
Wakanda
beach?
attack. East Coast with the gang, gang, gang. West Coast with the
What up, you Boosh? What up, you Booshes? Yeah, fucking Boosh. You fucking jabronis. You fucking jabronis. Fucking guy over here. This fucking guy over here doing the fucking podcast. Fucking 979. This fucking guy. Why I oughta. If I saw this guy in person, I fucking bam the fucking face right to the taint. Right to the taint. Right to the taint. Make it sick gains. Right to the taint. But it's on for the taint. But it's on for the taint. Wow. Ooh, rock hard nips.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome
Yes.
to the Daily Swole.
Yes, it's alive. Testing. Testing. Yes. How are you? I'm doing great. Oh, testing. Testicles. Testing. Testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 979 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gaincast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, Slaycast, and Taintcast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex. We all flexeth our biceptith. What's up, beaches? What's going on, Facebook? What's up, Instagram? What's going on? What's the good schword? Hello, man. What up, man? What's going on, Gina? Houston? Octavio? Antonio? Canada? What's up, Instagram? Say what up. Say what up, beach. Anyway, what is going on, my people? Hello. Welcome to episode 979. I'm happy to be here, of course. Let me try to get this chat up. There's all sorts of like glitchy McGlitcherson. All right, I think we're good now. There we go. Welcome, everyone, to the show. Thank you for subscribing. If it's your first time on the Daily Sleaze, if it's your first sleaze, if you've never sleazed before, make sure you drop in the comments. If it's your first sleaze, if this is the filthiest it's ever been, I want to know. Because if you're watching me live, if you're turning in to the sick fucking gains for the first time, you just popped your swole. And I'm very happy to be the one. Everyone remembers their first swole. Everyone remembers their first daily swole. Is this your first time? Is this your first time making some sick fucking audio gains? It sure might be. What's up, Shane? Make sure you drop some comments. Drop it wherever you're watching, and let me know what you pumped today. What'd you pump? I just did a little shoulder workout. I actually posted my Instagram story. It was good. It was a good workout. I actually, I needed to recover a little bit, so I slept a little bit more today. I was up late again, but I slept a little bit more today. I did an afternoon pump instead. Nah, don't like it anymore. Don't really like the afternoon pump. I'm borderline, well, if it's the afternoon, I'm just not going to do it anymore. But I went anyway, and my mind doesn't focus as well in the afternoon, for a workout like it used to. I like to do it early. I like to do it when the birds are chirping. I like to do it when everyone's fucking sleeping. I like to get it out of the way first. I like to focus on my session 100%. In the afternoon, the wheels are already turning. I'm thinking about the podcast. I'm thinking about other stuff I got to do. It was just a later start today. Usually one day or so out of the week, I allow myself to just kind of rest a little bit more. But I still wanted to get a shoulder pump. So I did it. And actually, it was a really good workout. No joke. It was a great workout, but it wasn't to like my top capacity. So first off, we can just get started with that conversation. First off, we know if you're in the gym at all, if you've been working out for fucking a month, you know that not every workout's going to be the same. Not every chest workout, total body workout, not everything is going to be the same all the time. So you have to, first off, get into your programming, your training with the understanding that you're going to have awesome workouts. You're going to have decent workouts, good ones, but you wouldn't put them in your top 5. And you're going to have shitty workouts. And don't beat yourself up about that. I think everyone beats themselves up when you don't have a good workout. Oh my God, today's workout sucked. Did it? I don't think any workout sucks. If you went, you're building consistency. There's always that positive aspect of having a workout. So if you went, you went. You have your consistency. You're keeping the engine running, right? You're paying your rent. You're doing your due diligence. You're building that discipline. So every time you go, it's important, even if you didn't have the best workout. And remember, you're not getting your results from one workout. That's very easy to forget. When you don't feel pumped, it could be because you didn't have a lot of you shouldn't be having a lot of carbohydrates, but it could just be you didn't eat enough. You didn't have enough of the small carbohydrate quantity that you're consuming. You didn't have enough. You just felt flat. You didn't get enough sleep last night. You're not hydrated enough. You're distracted. It could just be any number of things, or you just went and it was just psychologically. I don't know. There isn't always an explanation. So don't overthink it. Don't overthink the explanation. Don't overthink the reasoning. If you work out, even if you worked out every day, 365 days out of the year, you did mobility, yoga, or resistance training every day. Come on. How many times are you going to have workouts that are like, meh? You might have 100 that were fucking awesome. You might have 200 that were decent and 65 that were meh, but you're not getting results from any one workout. No one's ever gone to the gym the first time and gotten results. So think about that. Just as much as your first workout ever, no one's ever gone to the gym, come back, and they're huge and they're shredded from one workout. Just like from today till tomorrow, that one workout isn't going to make a difference. It's not. It's more of a psychological thing than an actual physical results thing. Now, of course, if you string those workouts together, one after the other, after the other, after the other, then you get those adaptations. But it's just very arbitrary. One workout, it's almost... And here's the thing. I always talk about one work. Every single thing matters, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. It matters a lot, but then it doesn't matter. And it's kind of your perspective on how you are looking at it. It's a great way to stay optimistic with your training all the time. And it's not like you're lying to yourself. You're just using your perspective appropriately to keep yourself consistent. Because I could either, look, if you had let's say it was a shitty workout, you could look at that as, oh my God, I had a fucking shitty workout. That was fucking stupid. It was a waste of time, and get down on yourself. Then you have stress hormones release. You feel shitty about this. It's going to translate into other aspects of your personal life and your training. Or you can say, today wasn't the best workout, but I went, it was good. And I'm keeping that movement running. Tomorrow, I'm going to crush it again. That's it. The same thing happened in both situations. It's your perspective and how you treat it, right? It's like making a good out of a bad. And it's not bad. You went to the gym and you listen to your body. So what I do is I adjust my training according to how my body feels. When I went today, I felt like working out, but I didn't feel like going heavy. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a short rest. I'm going to do a real good volume workout. I'm going to get a good pump. And I record a virtual trainer for those of you that are in Swole Enormous X. And it was a great workout. However, that workout will also be good for me to do next week or the week after. And when I'm really fucking amped up and I really crush it even harder, because I crushed it today, but I know I could do better. I know I can crush it even more. So there's always that room for improvement. And it doesn't mean that you had it just doesn't matter if it's not the best you ever had. And I think that's why a lot of people get hurt. I think that's why a lot of people get depressed. I shouldn't say depressed, but low mood, and they get discouraged from their training because every day is like the Super Bowl. You're not going to have a Super Bowl event. You're not going to have the pinnacle of your training every time you go to the gym. You're going to fucking hurt yourself. You have to be consistent. So if you're doing stupid shit, trying to always push yourself, AKA CrossFit, and most of the time you're trying to get a PR, you're trying to get a record, you're trying to push, you're always trying to break some kind of fucking record, you're going to hurt yourself. And then you're not going to get any results because you have to catch up. You have to repair. So it's more important about being consistently and adjust. And if you feel fucking banged up, I mean, today, honestly, could have very well been, you know what? I need to do yoga today. Also, the temperature dropped a ton in Florida. It's cold. Relative to Florida, it dropped like 20 degrees. So all of a sudden, you just feel different and kind of achy. It's just, you get these swinging weather shifts down here where it's like 50 degree. I know it's hot for a lot of you. You're like, oh my God, it's negative 20. But when you go from 85 and it's fucking sunny and you're hot and sweaty, and then all of a sudden the next day it's 60 degrees and 55, it's a big swing. So that can play a role as well. But from day to day, it's important, but it's also not important. You have to keep on moving. Bottom line, earth, time, everything is continuously moving. So if you get stuck up in the details, it's already in the past. So check my Instagram story. I put it in my highlights. I put it in the knowledge cock section. I put it in the purple, the eggplant section in my Instagram story highlights, but it's also my Instagram story. And I also shared it to my Facebook story like I normally do. And that was just the mentality of it today. So I went, I had a workout. It wasn't the best, but so what? It's already in the past, right? I'm talking about it to share you this story, but I'm going to forget about it. It's already done. The workout is over. Tomorrow's workout is going to be fucking awesome. And that's the way you got to play it. And that actually relates directly to the topic today, young mind. Those of you might have seen the story I posted, but I want to translate that to all of you because not everyone is 14 years old. So this gentleman messaged me, and I want to discuss your mindset more than just your body today. And when I talk about young mind, it's the maturing of the mind. It's the mentality and it's your approach to training. So yesterday, I believe it was, we talked about you should be focusing on the lifetime approach. It's not about going after abs, because going after abs is synonymous with not getting abs. You're going to cut corners if you're going after abs. You're going to cut corners if I'm only going after getting a big chest or big biceps. You're going to go after the wrong thing. You're thinking about your training wrong. And this happens with 14-year-olds and also happens with 44-year-olds. It's going after a specific thing without looking at the fundamentals. So the message from this kid was about, hey, I want to get bigger pecs and abs. What do you eat? What should I do? It's like, well, that's not the right mental approach. First off, you got to catch up. You got to listen to some of these podcasts and go over this information. I can't just answer that question in a DM. Think about how ridiculous that is. Not blaming this kid, but there's no way I can answer that question. There's no way I can answer that question in any kind of like message form. Oh, how do you get abs and pecs and what do I eat? Fuck, I can't spend 6 years messaging this kid in the DM. So it's an accumulation of experiences and putting in the work and figuring this stuff out. So with general questions, get general answers. But the mindset is, and the mental approach and what generates a question like that is more important to discuss for this podcast. So what's the mindset when you ask a question like that? It's looking for a specific physical goal rather than having that foundation. This kid is literally in the point in his life where the only thing he should be doing is that foundation. That's the foundation of life. He's young. But a lot of people start when they're 30, 40, 50, and they have to build that foundation now. That is the similarity. That's what's synonymous between that comment and all of you or anyone that's looking to start. Doesn't matter how old you are. It's what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on those basics? You always have to make sure. This is a constant coding. This is a constant coming back to it. I have to come back to the basics. Why do you think I share everything like that on my Instagram stories? Why do you think I share that story about today wasn't that great of a workout? Yeah, it was kind of a struggle, but I did it. I'm also reinforcing it to myself. I'm formulating these thoughts and I'm thinking, yeah, this is something I need to share because a lot of you have shitty workouts or workouts that you could perceive as, it wasn't that great. I have to always come back to the basics. I'm always coming back to the basics. If something's not right, you go back to the basics. You don't stay at that high level. If something's broken up top, it's not usually at the top. It's usually at the bottom. It's usually how you're thinking about it, how you're approaching it. And it's probably Look, if I didn't have a great workout today, it's probably because I went to sleep late. It's probably because I was cutting corners on my sleep the last couple of days. I was getting 2 or 3 hours of sleep for a couple nights because I was waking up in the middle of the night, kind of the middle of the night. I was going to sleep at 12 or 1, waking up at 4:30 and being like, well, the gym opens at 5. Let me go pump. And I'm doing my Instagram stories. I'm like, fuck yeah, it's early. And I'm amped up, but that's going to catch up in a couple of days and I'm going to crash. And I'm aware of that. And that's not the best way to live, but I'm also trying to do things in a certain way with creating all this content and juggling a lot of things with fucking like 15 or 20 different mechanisms of social media content. I mean, I'm doing every platform you can possibly imagine, plus, emails and Messenger and the Gain Train and the private community. Like, I'm doing a ton of shit and it's just constant juggling and it's great. I love it, but it takes a lot of time. So I don't have the luxury always of going to sleep at 9 o'clock and going, it doesn't always work out like that. Okay. Not everyone goes to sleep. So when I get messages and I get requests and customer service stuff, I have to answer these messages at 10 or 11 o'clock at night and things come through. So I try to do the most I can, answer all the comments and all that stuff, not tooting my own horn, but I know a lot of you live a similar life. You have kids, you're going to be waking up at 1 o'clock. If they wake up, you're fucking awake. You don't have a choice. So you're going to have things that interrupt your life. So you have to it's like a tug of war. You're trying to create, all right. So tug of war where you're tugging and you have like a little flag in the middle so you can see where that rope is pulling, who's winning, which side. You're always trying to find that balance, like a gyroscope. You're always trying to keep that on center. It's going to pull to the right. You got to bring it back to the left. You might overcorrect and it's going to go a little bit far to the left. You got to bring it back to the side. It's like a level. Okay. You're going to go back and forth and just try to and you keep on trying to pull back and forth to keep that bullseye right in the center. It's going to go back and forth. You're not always going to be in the center. That's it. That's the end. That's the game right there. You're trying to keep it on the bullseye, but it's not going to be on the bullseye. It's like anything else. You're going back and forth. Oh, I'm going left. I got to pull back right. Oh, I'm going too far right. I got to pull back left. I got to slow it down. Oh, I go. And you're just always juggling. And you have to give yourself credit. You have to not stress about it. You have to fucking back off. You can't be destroying yourself mentally. You can't be beating yourself up. And we have a lot of ways of thinking about things in our society that are programmed so deep we don't even realize it. How we think about ourselves. Did we sleep in today? That's usually perceived as lazy. So we kind of beat ourselves up about it without even realizing it because that seems like a lazy thing to do. Not necessarily. We are just programmed to think, oh, you slept like this time, you got up at this time, you're a lazy person. And in our brain, we're being negative to ourselves, our self-speak. You have to not pressure yourself. You have to live your life your way and try to be as aware as possible of these social biases that we grow up with. You have a lot of things that the way you process information, the way you think about things that you don't realize are programmed since you were little. And that's understandable. It's understandable and it's hard to undo that. It's hard to unpack that, but that's why meditation helps. That's why thinking about these things helps and focusing on your own shit. The more you pull away from all the other noise that's going on around you, whether it's family members, whether it's social media, people at work or people that are not on the same level as you, the more you pull away from it. Remember the blinders from yesterday, I think? When you have those blinders on, it makes things a lot better because you're not distracted by what anyone else says or thinks. If you focus on your own shit, then you can really make some progress because your opinion is the only one that matters. Your intent and your opinion is what you think about yourself and what you are doing. And if you're doing it for the right reasons, that's all that matters. That is why the lifetime approach is so important because who are you getting abs for? Right? Like that comment from the kid, pecs and abs. Why? Do you think that human beings from a natural level, just from being born on Earth, period, do you think it's in our brain to want abs and pecs? It's not. We don't think like that. We're taught to want those things. We're taught to want those things. Now, they look good, but do they look good? Or do we think they look good because people tend to like those things? We like what people want. People want fancy cars in general. Why? Because we're taught to think that fancy cars are important. So we like fancy cars, but do we like them? Do we really like them? Or do we like them because other people like them? It's usually the latter. And that has to do with everything. So you have abs. Okay, well, does that mean, like, why do you want those things? And I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying he should want something else, because everyone's going to want something different. Some people want to travel. Some people want watches and fancy cars and this. But if you want it for the right reasons, that's something else. And usually people want those things because other people want those things. And you want to have things that other people want, so they like you or they want to be around you, or it's a status symbol, right? It's that hierarchy approach. And it happens in many different ways. And most animals and most tribes, right, the strongest survive. Like the big gorilla beats the fuck up out of the weaker ones, and then he's the alpha and he's in charge and he gets to bang all the females. So that's usually how animals work. But in our society, it's not just the strongest survive and the strongest. You could be smart, you could be clever, you could be an artist, you could be this different thing. So we try to find things that have value and then have more of it than someone else, or to do better at that than someone else, have more abs or have more cars or have more planes or have more watches or whatever like that. And that's one of the downsides of social media, because everyone can post whatever they want and make it look like they have all these things. Oh, I have all these cars. And they could just be taking pictures of a car, you know, in a parking lot, and they make it look like it's their car. Like all these things, right? It's like putting filters on your Instagram. You make it look like you have all these things. You make it look like, and there are billions and billions of people that are on Instagram and these platforms. And now you're inundated with all these people that have all these things and have all these results, all these abs, all these pec muscles and all these fucking biceps. Oh my God, everyone has it but me. I want that so bad. I want that so bad. You got to slow down and realize that the only thing that matters is you and your health. You have to do it for you. You have to do it for the right reasons. You have to shake off all this fucking shit, because it gets exhausting. It gets exhausting. Look, I love making fun of people from a comedic standpoint. I don't care what anyone else wants. You can want whatever the fuck you want. I love doing driving while gaining. I love raging on other people, but I don't hate them. I don't care. I don't fucking care what they do. I love that kind of comedy. I love that kind of berating comedy. A lot of you probably do too, because that's why you're fucking here. That's why my style, I love that. I love fucking abrasive comedy. I love offensive comedy. I fucking love it. I love it. So that's why I promote it. And everyone like looks at his health like, why are you hating on this? Why are you hating? I'm not hating, you fucking idiot. Just laugh. Lighten the fuck up. People get so fucking butthurt. Relax. Relax. Calm down. Calm down. Take a breath and calm down. No one really cares about your problems. No one cares. Just relax. Just relax. You know what it's like? You know what it's like? It's kind of like when you remember high school or something, you give a presentation, and maybe the first time you gave a presentation, or even still public speaking and all that stuff, people get nervous. Remember when you're in the audience, when you're in the classroom and it's your turn to go up and you're up there and you're giving your presentation with your report or whatever it is, and you're all nervous and your hands are sweaty and you're fucking nervous. And you're like, everyone's looking at me. Oh my God, I hope I don't fuck up. And you're talking and you're really, really nervous. You know that feeling, I'm sure. Most of you do. But then when you're in the class and you're watching someone give a presentation, you don't give a fuck if they mess up. You kind of feel bad, like, oh, they messed up. Like, but you don't really care if they do. You don't think less of them. You don't give a fuck. And you know that, okay, no one really gives a fuck. That's what I don't give a fuck when I'm in the audience. But then when you're up there, everyone gives a fuck. You're so nervous. But then when you're in the audience and you're in the class and then you're watching the presentation, you're like, I don't give a shit. You have to use that mentality. When you're watching them, if anything, you have sympathy if they mess up. You're not hating on them like, haha, you fucked up. You're like, oh man, oh shit, I would feel so bad. If you feel for them. But you don't care. You don't care that they fucking messed up. You don't give a shit. It's that perspective. No one fucking cares what you're doing. No one gives a shit. That's why I make fun of people. That's why I like making fun of people, but I make fun of people in a funny way, not in a serious way. I think everyone has to just relax. When someone else says something, sticks and stones. Sticks and Stones, that famous video of that comedian. I don't know his name. I don't think he's a famous comedian, but the video went viral. Remember that video? It's on Facebook. It got tons of views because it's so true. But I don't know. It's like the people that need to see it don't see it. And he was talking about how sticks and stones, we say that. That's the classic phrase in the 50s, 60s. This, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. However, today, the only thing that people let bother them are fucking words. That's the only thing. People get so offended. The only thing you're getting punished for now, not the only thing, you get punished for actual throwing sticks and stones, but if you say the wrong word, people get so fucking offended. Where did that go, right? And the comedian said, what the fuck? Like, we learned that when we were kids, sticks and stones, but now everyone's a fucking pussy. The only thing people get offended by is the words. It's like, remember, you understand that they're words, right? You understand that they're just words. They don't do anything. It's that arbitrary. So you have to stop worrying about what other people want. And it's not easy because you're programmed since you're little. But you have to know what you want and what's most important to you. And when you think about, do I want to be shredded? Do you want to be shredded, really? Do you want to do all this work just to be like, is that really the most important thing for you? Really? You might say in the comments, yeah, I want to be fucking ripped. But really? Really? Is that really the most important thing for you? Is that really what you're trying to do? Is be a little bit more lean? Is that going to make you happier? It's not. That's why I always warn people about going after weight loss, that number on the scale, that body fat percentage. Every time I get a message when someone's trying to lower their body fat a little bit more, I'm like, oh, someone else is just going to go after a fucking number. Doing body fat percentage shit is very, very similar to looking at a scale. There's really not that much difference. And of course, if you weigh less, meaning you have less extra body fat, extra body fat. And when I say extra body fat, I'm not talking about seeing every fucking ripple in your abs or in your chest. I'm talking about excess body fat, more than you should for health. When it comes to your body fat percentage, you don't have, being 10% body fat is shredded. That's not any healthier than being 15%. If anything, it might be a little bit less. You want body fat. Your body wants body fat. That's why it's hard to get really low. We talked about that with hormones and survival. Your body wants body fat. That's why it's easy to put on body fat and it's hard to get rid of it because your body wants. I'll say it again. Your body wants to put on body fat. It's extra. It's savings. If someone gives you extra money, you don't just throw out the window. Nah, I don't need this much. No, you put it in the bank. That's what your body does. Your body wants to put on body fat because food on an evolutionary level is scarce. Things have just shifted now because we have refrigeration and we have amazing technology and shipping methods. We're able to have extra food, so we're able to put on more fat easily. It was really hard to get fat in the past unless you were extremely wealthy like a king or something or a nobleman and you could sit on your ass and just eat food. That used to be looked at when you were fat, when you were rotund and portly. That was looked at as a, what's it called? That was looked at as a higher on the social status. You were wealthy because you had enough money to have excess. You were an important person because you didn't have to do physical labor. People that worked in the farms and the fields didn't have a lot of money. They were more skinny because they were fucking that. Why do you think people started eating gluten and wheat and all these things? Because it fattened you up just like cows. That's why it's not good for you. It fattens you up. It bloats you. It adds on more body fat. That's why people started eating it because it was cheap. It would last a long time and it would fatten you up. Yet we're still eating it today, but that's a whole conversation for another story. But the whole point is that is the mentality that we have, and that's what our body wants to do. So it's not about being completely shredded. It's about pursuing the right health direction, pathway, your health journey. The most important thing is that you're doing things for the right reasons for your health. It's fine if you want to get leaner. It's fine if you want to have bigger muscles in a certain way. But those are not directly related to health and to having more value. And if you understand what your value is and you're pursuing your health for the right reasons, those other things and that noise, that background noise starts to become less impactful and starts to make less of a difference. And it doesn't influence your decisions. You don't want someone influencing your decisions. Someone else's thought and opinion is going to influence how you approach your training, how to approach your fucking life. That's some seriously fucked up shit. That's some seriously fucked up shit. If someone else's opinions has to do or influences what you actually do, fuck that. Yo, fuck that in a big way. Fuck that hard. Come on, think about how weird that is. Someone, another human being, another organism, another animal has a thought about you. And you take that thought and you change your actions. Fuck that shit. I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't give a fuck. I'm happy for all of you here. I'm happy for the attention. I'm happy for that. and delivering a message that resonates with you. If you don't like it, you could leave a comment. You could leave a negative comment. I'll laugh. I'll leave a fucking snide remark in return because it's fun. I like that kind of comedy, and I'll move on with my life. It doesn't bother me at all. If you don't like what I do, then fucking go listen to something else. There's only a billion fucking podcasts. There's only a billion fucking Instagram pages. There's more than enough to go around. So go watch something else. Go listen to something else. You don't like me calling you fat? Then fine. Go do something else. Go be fat and go do, right? The only reason I talk about it in that sense is because I think when you soften that word, when you soften fat and you make it, oh, I'm overweight. No, that takes the balls out of the fucking word. That takes the stones out of the word. That makes it less impactful. That takes away the severity and the problem associated with that word. And then people stop caring about it as much because I'm not fat. I'm just overweight. I have extra body weight. There's more to love. I'm not fat. I'm overweight. And it softens it. It makes it a pussy fucking word, which makes people take it less seriously. It's like PTSD. There are fucking members in Swole Enormous X that have PTSD. A lot of people have PTSD. Only that's a pussification of a fucking word. Remember, none of us were alive, but shell shock. That was the original shell shock. That has some fucking impact. You picture shells and explosions and fucking problems and, real stress. And then it became post-traumatic stress disorder. That's a famous George Carlin thing. I love George Carlin because he was an absolute wizard with words. He picked up on all those little nuances of the pussification of words. That was one of his bits. You could look it up. There's clips all over the place. He was brilliant. He talked about shell shock, and then there was like this, and it just keeps on getting more and more pussified because people get offended. Why are you getting offended? Use the fucking word. Use the word. And there are many other ones. I'm not going to go here because people get so offended. But when you change the word, you change the meaning, you change the effect, you take away the pain of it, you take away the impact of it, you take away the health and that part that scratches your brain, that part that fucking kind of hurts, like, oh, that fucking word stings. Good. I'm glad it fucking stings. It's good when it stings. If you're fat, guess what? Call yourself fat. That's fine. We all know what that word means. We avoid it because we don't like we don't like the work that might be associated with it. We translate that into a story about ourselves. Oh my God, I'm a bad person. Where did that come from? If someone's fat, and let's say I made a video, I'm like, oh, you're fat. You got to change it for your health. I'll help you. Like, that's the thing. Like what I'm saying, when I'm calling someone fat, I'm not lying. And I'm saying, I'm going to help you. Let's start working on this thing. I'm not saying you're a shitty person because you're fat. I'm not saying you're a fucking asshole because you're fat. I'm not saying you're ugly because you're fat. I literally don't say any of those things because it's not true. Everything else is a subjective opinion. But what is objective is that you're fat. Fine. It's only, 70, 80% of the people that are fat? Okay, let's make those changes. Let's talk about what you can do so you can be less fat. You know why? Because that would be more healthy. That's what we know. So let's stop pussifying the words and start doing something about it so those words no longer apply to us. How about that for a flip? Why don't we take the measures so we are no longer fat? So then you no longer have to be offended by that word. There you go, Scott. Quote, there are no bad words, there are bad thoughts and bad ideas. George Carlin. Absolutely. I use a lot of these words that are offensive because I like them. I love the word cunt. I love it. I love the word twat. I think they're awesome. I think they're hilarious. Some people get so offended. Why? Why you get offended? It's just a word. It's just a sound coming out of my mouth. Why does that bother? I love it. And I love saying things that bother people because it's amusing to me that it bothers people. I get a kick out of it. So I say them often. And then the people that like them, that have the same kind of mindset, you stay. And then you watch this episode and you watch the podcast and then we all have fun together. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I don't hide anything. That's why I don't hide anything. That's why I say whatever I want to say, because I want to filter out the fucking pussies. I don't want pussies watching this shit. I don't want pussies around here. Oh, that's mean. Go somewhere else. And I know you all flock on that stuff. Whenever someone leaves a comment, which is rare, actually. It's pretty rare, actually, on Instagram or something when someone gets offended by that. No one really Most often someone sees the post and then it's like, ugh, and they just unfollow or they block me or they probably do that. But usually when someone leaves a negative comment, all of you come in and drop comments and are like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And you all take care of it. I don't even have to, before I get to it, I see all the response. I'm like, oh, okay. But it's rare. It's rare. So I think, I think it's important to recognize what the words mean and that it's okay for a word to mean something. It's how you respond to what that word is. If you get offended, I think the real question every time you get offended by something, and it does not mean that is not an offensive thing to say. It might be offensive, but I think it's important to check yourself and be like, okay, I just got offended by that. Why did I get offended by that? And if there's a valid reason, if someone says, you're a fucking piece of shit, you can get offended, be like, whoa, this person is not someone I should hang out with. No one's stabbing you with a knife. No one's actually physically hurting you. So don't spend time with that person. Eliminate them, ignore them. And that's it. It's a word, right? It's a word. That's it. So every time you get offended by something, think about why you get offended. There's a reason why that bothers you. There's a reason why something bothers you. Why? That's the real hack. That's the real thing. That's not always easy. Sometimes that's really some soul searching. That's some deep shit. But the mind is important. And this episode, Young Mind, is all about that. Your mind needs to mature. You have a lot of 30, 40, 50, 60-year-olds that have the same mind as that 14-year-old. You have the same mind. He has, I guess, would be an excuse because he wants a chest, abs. Okay, not to say there's anything wrong with that, but he's seeing a lot of stuff on Instagram as a 14-year-old, and he's seeing every single 14-year-old that's lifting weights. He's seeing 19-year-old Gymshark dudes that are taking SARMs and anabolics that are fucking ripped and jacked at 19. Get the fuck out of here. Not natural. And then he's looking at that like, I want to be like that because all his friends are lifting and some people grow earlier than others and some people are taking shit and it's not publicized because there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. So when you have a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old, a 50-year-old that has the same mindset that's going after physical results, you have to think, why? Why are you getting so offended? Why are you going after physical results when you're a grown-ass person? It's fine. However, we have to disconnect that connection between physical results and health, which isn't always the same thing. Being shredded to the bone, we associate with health. Oh, that person's ripped. Okay, ripped does not mean healthy. These professional bodybuilders that are juicing out of their minds, extremely low body fat percentages, their diets extremely low in fat, not healthy at all. Not healthy. That's not fitness, that's bodybuilding. That's fitness model. That's Instagram model. That's shredded. Okay, fine. But we associate that automatically. That person's shredded and we think that's what I want, fitness. No, that is to win a competition on a specific thing. That's not health. That's not wellness. That's not living a long and prosperous life. That's doing specific things to look a certain way to win a competition, to get a sponsorship, to look a certain way. To have that, you have to cut corners. That's not the pursuit of health. That's not the pursuit of wellness. That's not the pursuit of longevity. That's doing X, Y, and Z to get that. Okay? If you pursue health and you try to map your actions, what you keep around your house, your lifestyle, your mental health, your physical health, the nutrients, what you're consuming, so often you're going to just drop that extra weight. Your body's going to reset. You're going to feel better. You're going to build muscle. Then you adjust and then you can get leaner. You can build muscle. You can have abs. You can get those things, but then it's a byproduct of doing things the right way. And then usually when you clean your act up and you take care of your true wellness, you don't desire to be fucking shredded to the bone anymore. You realize what's most important. You realize how you feel, and then you don't want to cut corners. You don't want to micromanage your food and cut calories, and you just don't want to because you feel so good and you appreciate you have that mind shift. And that's what we do here, and that's what we do in Swole X and on this podcast and everything. is you have that mind shift where, yeah, physical results are great. Let's build muscle. Let's lose body fat, extra body fat. But that's not the fucking primary goal. That's usually a domino effect of taking care of the right things in your life. Okay. And everyone's going to want something different. But if you take care of those foundational things, like I mentioned, like that 14-year-old should be focusing on, that you should be focusing on, if you always come back to the basics, you always come back to the foundation, those things are a lot clearer. And whenever I have a shitty workout, like, again, it wasn't shitty, but relatively speaking, whenever I have a workout that was like, meh, it could have been better, I always step back and I go back to the basics. What's the most important thing that I need to go back and refocus on so this doesn't, I guess, negatively affect my continuation, my consistency? What do I have to go back and kind of clean up? What do I have to go back and refocus on in order to make sure that tomorrow's workout is a better one, in order to make sure that my consistency stays the same, in order to make sure that I can keep this fucking, the meter running? Extremely important. Extremely important. So it's all about that mindset, but it's about doing things at that foundational level. And I'm always going to keep on coming back to it. I'm always going to talk about this because this is what people lose. You always think about those high level things to change. It always comes back to the basics. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 979. Tomorrow, episode 980 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Make sure to go check out the brand new workout on the Gain Train blog. You can subscribe to the Gain Train blog. It's on swolenormousx.com. You can go and click on the hamburger pull down menu and check out the new workout. There will be a lot more there. You can also subscribe and get notified when new workouts drop. And you can also jump on those special offers to join Swolenormous X. Going to go work on editing a ton of content, new driving while gaining, a lot of shit. Feel free to message me. Feel free to plug in. Make sure you subscribe. All the podcast links for subscribing are on my website, swolenormousx.com. You could also go to my Instagram profile. There's highlights there in my profile. There's links there in my stories. All this shit. Just follow me, plug in, and let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to help. I'll see you all tomorrow for episode 980 of the Daily Mother Swole. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce Magoose, your boy Papa Swole. Out.